And so, anytime there are storms, we kind of talk about the eye of the storm, and sometimes that can be interpreted as being dangerous, as being somewhere where you don't want to go. But one thing that I want to let you know, just like even like say a hurricane, we mentioned the eye of the storm. And when you think about the eye of the storm, I want you to think about yourself because there are many storms that you have gotten past. And I want you to remember that. You're not in a storm where you were yesterday. You're not in a storm where you were 2 years ago. You're not in a storm where you were 5 years ago. And today is a different storm. And know that, I want you to remember this, in that with each storm that you are in, you are evolving. You are evolving in each storm. May not be in the storm in of itself, but y'all, if we can see inside the storm where we're in it, that's where the magic really happens more so than afterwards. And it's not always like that because I've been in a few storms myself. And when you're in those storms, you're like, okay, how I'm going to get out? Where's the exit? I want the detour. That's when you want the detours, right? I tell you. But one thing that I can say, and I'm sharing this with you, especially like after, especially breakups, especially when it comes to relationships, because they can really just wear us down. But one thing that I would tell you, seriously, y'all, the sooner you get out of the storm, yes, there is like an emotional, psychological, spiritual path, I'm going to say, that has to be taken, but it doesn't mean it has to be taken in the way that society may have you think that it is. And there are going to be times when you're going to be feeling in such a way. But in order for you to empower your evolution is for you to see where you are. Because of the fact of you, if you are in the lowest point of the storm, you're not able to see. You see where I'm pointing at? You see where I'm pointing at, right? You're not able to see, not just with your eyes, not just with your physical eyes, that too, but you're not able to see. That's just like when I was crying for 40 days and 40 nights. It wasn't until I got deep into my soul. It was like, okay, enough is enough. And I went several layers deep because otherwise you're not able to see opportunities and options and blessings if there's fog there. If you stay in the darkness of it, you're going to come up. But your eyes are the ones that's going to empower your evolution. If not, you would stay stuck. If not, you would continue to be where you are. If not, you won't be able to have the transformation that's really part of the journey for your destination, so that when it comes to your calling, when it comes to your mission, when it comes to all the things that is there for you. Because one thing that I can say, and sometimes y'all, we don't like it. We don't like it, but it's true. Some experiences are there for you for your character development. Some experiences are there for you to get better, not just to say, oh, I'm a good person, I'm a bad person. No, 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 no. That's part of it. But some of it is so that you can have the audacity to do the things that need to be done when it comes to your calling, so that you can have the boldness to do the things that need to be done when it comes to your calling, so that you can stand up straight and speak your truth. Because without some of those experiences, wherever you were then, you would be there now. And so, meaning that if there are certain character developments that you don't have when it comes to your calling, you will still stay stuck. You still be stalling, and sometimes you even stop. But no, we are not having that, because you are the eye of the storm. It allows you to see what you need to see. It allows you to hear what you need to hear. It allows you to have the voice that you need to have. And let me tell you something. Even though I am pouring into you right now, even though this is inspiring for you, even though this is motivating for you, even though this like, oh yeah, Sharon, this is exactly what I needed to hear. But you are the only one who can see. You're the only one who can have the enlightenment, so that you can have the power to empower your evolution. Because without you being able to see yourself from within, see what you need, see what you want, and see who you are at that given time. Because one thing I used to say when I was younger, and I don't even think I fully understand, I'm going to say this, I have a better understanding of, not exactly a different perspective, but a better understanding of when I used to say, even though we're good people, we can always be better. Even though you're a good person, you can always be better. We can always get better. Meaning you can see things in a different perspective that will allow you to do the things that need to be done for your calling. Because one thing that I will say, the experiences that I've had wasn't just for me. Because if anything, I'm not going to say, now I don't want you to suffer. I really don't. But what I will say is to at least to be able to help you to navigate, to move through the process of your evolution, at least with more knowledge, at least to say, okay, Sharon said, when I'm feeling this way, do not just lay down and go to sleep. There's time for rest and recovery. But there are times that you may need to feed your soul. There may be times you may need to do something for someone else, whatever that is. But, I'm going to always revert back, feed yourself first, and then go out and, be of service to others. Because if you don't, then that's wear and tear on you as well. But in order for you, again, the eyes of the storm, in order for that to be fed, it is for you to be able to sit in the good, the bad, the otherness of you. It's order for you to be honest of where you are at that given time. It's for you to be honest what your needs are at that given time. And there are times, sometimes we need to sit in that mess. It just really depends on the person, to be honest. But one thing that I can say, I've seen it. I've seen it within myself. I've seen it when I treat other people. Sometimes we can do all of the things that, let's say, need to be done when it comes to coping, increasing capacity, of having a positive mindset, all of those things. But there are times in which we just need to sit in the mess. And one of those things that I would tell you, and I still don't like it, because I'm like, I'm not like that. I'm not that type of person. It's not natural for me, because I really can see, different perspectives. But the one thing other than the crying for the 40 days and 40 nights. And when I sat down ended up getting on the floor from my bed, went onto the floor and just really went deep inside me. And again, this was a process, so it wasn't like at that particular time. But during that process of healing, I had to get mad. I had to get angry of what I was experiencing just in the situation. I had to get angry with the person. I had to get angry with myself. I had to get angry with the situation. I had to allow myself to experience anger. And some people may say, "Oh, Sharon, you can't do that. That's not," whatever you want to say about it. But one thing I will say, once I allow that emotion, again, we're talking about the full expression of an emotion, because if you do not allow yourself to feel it, to be, you're denying yourself the right of being human. You're denying yourself the opportunity to heal, to work through. And one thing that I can say, once I allowed myself to be angry just at it, it's not a blaming thing, it's just to be angry, to sit in that. Hey, things were lifting. I was able to let go even more. And so with that enlightened me. You hear me? You see where this is going? It enlightened me. So when you allow yourself the full, again, that's being honest with yourself of where you are or what you're experiencing or what your needs are. So when you have that enlightenment that goes into the eye to help you through the storms, because without that, it was still in that darkness. You see where this is going? It's still in that darkness. And so when you're in transition, that's just in relationship. There's so many different transitions that individuals can be in. It can be the transitions from, a new job. It can be a transition from an old job, especially if you got laid off or terminated or whatever it may be. But there's different types of transition. There's different levels of where you are. But in order to have enlightenment, again, the eye that needs to be open can be dampened if you are not able to see. And it takes a lot of work, y'all. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. So in order to empower your evolution, that means for you, again, to be honest of what you need, to be honest of where you're going, to be honest about what challenges that sits there with you or before you. Because without that, the eye that you need, you're trying to look with your eyes. So let me put on my glasses here. It's like, well, can I see here? Can I see here? You trying to look through these eyes. No. There's a time and place for these. Sometimes you need to look through the eyes. That's the doorway to your spirit, to your soul. And sometimes that can be blocked. We be blocking it. You be trying to blame other people sometimes. But again, with the breakup, it revealed certain things about me, where I needed to grow up, where I was stuck at. So when you have experiences, when you are in transitions, there are opportunities to reveal who you are. And you know how society can be, they can look at something in a negative way, but no, you don't worry about society, because again, some of those experiences were needed. Because again, with the breakup, it propelled where I am today. It opened a door for self-care for myself and for others as well. I mean, you all get to experience all of these nuggets that I've been sharing here over the years. And so, especially, I'm on YouTube as well, and I was looking, and I'm like, I guess you could say I do so much hand motions. I've always been one to talk with my hands. That's where I'm animating at. I may not be animating in other ways, but I'm animating in that way. And so it was like, oh, since you are talking, we'll lower your hands. That is so funny. But anyway, when it comes to the eye of the storm, the thing is that how are you going to empower your evolution where you're in the storm? Because it's not just about being enlightened, it's also how are you executing? And I know sometimes when we're, have that heartbreak or even in grief and heartbreak, during that process, it is a form of grief that can come along with it. Doesn't mean that it has to, because even when someone passes, everyone experiences grief in some form or fashion. I always like to acknowledge all of it because everyone experiences something different. But what I would tell you is that your enlightenment can be blocked even further if there's not execution. So, meaning when I was sitting down, or let me back up, crying for 40 days and 40 nights, again, exhausted, going to sleep, going to work, going to sleep, going to work, going to sleep, going to yoga, coming home, going to sleep. But it wasn't until I did something different, meaning that in learning how to go deeper within myself, and I would say it was more of the meditative part of yoga that really helped me, because it helped settle, listen to this, the nervous system. It was doing something along the way, but it's like, hey, we need a little bit more. So it helps settle that. And it helped me to go in even further. And I'm here to tell you the execution part is to do more of the settling, to focus more on that nervous system and to execute. Because sometimes, we look at execution, or some people look at execution of doing hard things. And sometimes for some individuals that can be hard. But the sooner that you execute, as they say, the results that you foresee can come even faster. And so when you're cultivating, and I'm going to say this, I feel like we're always cultivating our evolution. I really do feel like we're always in transition, whether you realize that or not. But I want you to fuel and feed your eye, empower your evolution. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, especially if you are a female entrepreneur who are 40 plus, the doors are open for empower your evolution. And with Empower Your Evolution, it's a 90-day program within Fortitude Free Circle. And the initial part of it is transparency. We did a little bit of that here, because if you're not honest with yourself of where you are, of who you are and what you need, sometimes we need a little help for that, especially when you're in transition. And with Empower Your Evolution, It's a 90-day transformational experience. And y'all, if anything that I did learn, sometimes we need help. And one of the things that did help me is that being in groups, being in circles, being in community. And one thing that helps even more is when you execute more frequently. And that is what empower your evolution does. And again, you can be transitioning from different things because it allows you to have a clear view of where you are and where you're going. Along with that of being inside the circle, because you're going to get more inside the circle as a VIP as compared to, being in the standard or the premium. You would get one-on-one consultation so you can get a clear picture. Because to be honest, you already know it. You just haven't executed yet. There's so many different things that are blocking you and coming your way. And it's justified. But I'm telling you, the more that you sit on it, it will be delayed. And sometimes your soul doesn't need to be delayed. And the people that you're meant to serve, they will have to wait longer. Then there'll be follow-up. Because the other thing that I've learned is that you can start something, a lot of times you don't finish or you don't circle back around. Because you can have the plan, because a lot of you already have the blueprint, you already got the plan, but if you don't have anyone that you can be accountable to follow up, it's like, okay, this is where you are. And even though I'm a therapist, but this is not a therapy program. It's therapeutic, but it's not a therapy program. But you're like sick and tired of even being stuck or stalling or stopping. And then it can be transition in something personal or professional. And then for some, for personal growth. Because if anything, especially as being an entrepreneur, that is something that is very beneficial and, to be honest, that we really need on a regular basis. And that was the other outcome, because I wasn't doing personal development work. Everything was good. It was like, hey, I'm a good person. I'm doing my thing in this field. Life is just great. I mean, I experienced some things along the way, but life is even better for constant personal development, because constant personal development helps feed your eye. So meaning that you're constantly empowering your evolution, and it's not by default. The other thing, by being a VIP, you have exposure to accountability. There are opportunities for question and answers and more time with me. In the first 30 days, it's a sprint, because y'all, I've done it before. And get into some of these programs and be watching or stop and go. No, we're not having any of that, because your calling of who you are and the identity that you need for your calling, because that's the other thing. Sometimes we're not where we can be because our identity isn't completely there yet. And that's where the transformation is. And if anything I've learned, this is where we really do need other people. When it comes to transitioning and you have a higher calling. Because again, when you're in the eye of the storm, your eyes can see and you know you're going to be okay. You want that. And so, with the VIP, for those of you who are interested, if this live has resonated with anyone, by all means, share it. Because we don't want you being stuck. We don't want you stalling. We don't want you standing still. There's a time and place for all of that. But we say, now is the time. Now is the time. So for those of you who are interested in Empower Your Evolution 90-day program, by all means, comment Empower. Because we need to make sure you are taken care of, because if your eyes is blocked, you will continue to really go in circle. And we don't want that anymore. We don't stop that. Now is your time. Get the guidance, get the support, get the accountability, so you can have the personal growth that you know that you've been trying to do all along. And so, for those of you who are ready to move forward, empower your evolution.